Welcome to the Bar Business Podcast, where we help
Today
bar
we're going to be
owners
talking about one
increase
of
profits,
the easiest
attract
ways
loyal
to add a
guests, and
little bit of
simplify
incremental
operations
revenue to
so
your
you can
bar.
avoid
And I
burnout
think you
and
guys
finally
know
enjoy
from
your
listening to
life
the podcast,
outside
I
of your
don't
bar. I'm your
particularly
host, Chris
recommend
Schneider,
a
the
lot
Bar
of products
Business
or
Coach.
programs. My guest
on a regular
today
basis,
is
but
Kyle, and
this
he
is
is an
one
inside
where the
sales
guys
rep
reached
with
out to
Buyer's
me,
Edge,
and I've been
which is the
talking
company
to
we'll
him
be
for a
discussing.
couple months now.
And they help
And
bars
they
and
really have
restaurants
something
get
unique
cash back
that I
on
think
purchases
every
that
bar owner
you're already
can
making.
utilize.
And what
really
makes Kyle
does
unique, one of the
get
things
you
that should be great about this
more
conversation
incremental
is,
income
yes,
with like this
he
much
is a
work.
sales rep
It's
for a
pretty
company
easy
that
too.
helps
So we're
bars and
gonna dive
restaurants,
all into this.
but he's also been a restaurant manager. So he understands kind of where we're all coming from and knows what this industry needs to help make us all more successful. So we're going to be talking about the Buyer's Edge program and how it gets set up and what it can do to kind of help you out. So with that, Kyle, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. I appreciate it. A little background information on myself. I was formerly a student at UMass Amherst, being also running a late night pizza place called Antonio's. I was the assistant general manager. While I was doing that, I was also training the new general manager. So I was kind of the one running things. I was super busy. I was going to school full time while also putting in full time hours and dealing with all the staff complaints and everything that comes along with it. So I'd say I got this job right after college, wanted to do something new. Unfortunately, landed a job with Buyer's Edge platform, where I think I really have related skills. I can really relate to a lot of the people I talk to on the phone. Because everyone on the phone, if you're running a restaurant, you're super busy. And I was as well. I mean, really had no time left in my personal life, so I can only totally level with people and kind of relate to the lifestyle that they're living. So.
Well, and I think that's, as I got to know you guys and we kind of explored doing a podcast episode and some different things together, that's one of the things that I really appreciated, right? That you're coming to this with a background where you're going, yeah, I completely understand that as a bar owner, you are too busy. You don't really want to talk to anybody. You probably don't have time to do this, but for a little bit of time, we can get you quite a bit of benefit. And
Yeah.
so since you understand those pain points, let's dive into a little bit about kind of the value of that incremental income.
Mhm.
Because one of the things I talk about a lot with my audience is small percentages matter. And so based on your restaurant and management experience, where do you see like, okay, if a 1% change in cost for a restaurant or bar, what does that mean to people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think anything helps, honestly. Obviously, 1% savings is only going to help your profit margins and your bottom line, which is crucial. I know a statistic I came across when I first started at this company that like 20% of restaurants, like close in their first year. And on top of that, it usually takes like anywhere between 1 and 5 years to become profitable. So it's tough. I mean, it's definitely an ambitious thing to go ahead and open up a restaurant. It's a grind. And I think any bit of money helps, right? I mean, especially if you can earn money back on the purchases that you're already doing. That's kind of the most the biggest benefit that we have here. So
Yeah, and I know you guys have been out and Buyer's Edge is kind of new, but it's really not that new. I think you guys have been around for what,
Mhm.
about 5 years?
Yeah, so we've been around for a decently long time. I'd say like the Dining Alliance program, is which I work for, which helps independent restaurants between 1 and 10 locations, has really gotten off the ground in the last 5 years, I'd say. But yeah, Buyer's Edge platform as a whole, we've been doing this for a pretty long time. And at this point in the game, we appease to a lot of people in the hospitality industry. Outside of the brand I work for, Dining Alliance, we also have like Consolidated Concepts, which deals with people who have 10 locations and more. We also deal with other people in the hospitality industry, such as like casinos, like golf clubs, which would fall under like a Source One brand. So yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
But just for the record, for everybody listening, you personally are really only dealing on that independent side. You're working with the
Mhm.
small guys and helping them be more successful.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd be the guy picking up the phone for you. So
And that's the other thing that's kind of cool about this, and we'll talk about this more later on. But if you do listen to this podcast and you do think, okay, cool, Buyer's Edge sounds like somebody I want to work with, Kyle is your guy, right? Like
yeah,
they're actually. It's not like they're going to see you and then talk to some random robot or some AI. They're going to see you and then talk to you.
yeah, exactly. No, it's pretty cool. It'll be kind of interesting to see how this plays out. The listeners will hear my voice here and then hear once they sign up and I give them a call. So definitely look forward to talking to people who find out about the program here on your podcast.
So we've kind of alluded to what Buyer's Edge does, right? In that you guys
Mm,
help people save money.
mhm.
But what exactly does that mean? How does this all work?
Yeah, great question. So for Dining Alliance, we usually bring three main things to members. And the first thing, which I talked about a little bit, is rebates on the food you already buy or items you already buy through your distributors. We have
Mhm.
partnerships with a ton of different vendors. And the second thing I'd say would be we can get you discounts on your other invoices because we also have partnerships with a lot of different brands out there. For example, like ChefWorks, like Staples, if you use office supplies through them, serve safe to certify yourself and your employees. I'd say most restaurants across the country use that. And the third thing is new innovative ways to kind of improve your food and labor costs.
So a lot that we have to talk about
Yeah.
here on this episode. But um, I know the first thing that people are wondering though, because we're talking about a program, they're all thinking, "Hey, this costs me money. What does it cost to do this?"
Yeah, it's the question I get all day on the phones, but it's a completely free program. The best way I can explain it to people is it's technically labeled as the Manufacturer Appreciation Program. And that is because it's all manufacturer rebates. You're getting money from the manufacturers on the items you're already purchasing through your distributors. And the reason why we're able to run this cool program for free is because we're paid from the manufacturers as well. So it all kind of starts with them. But
Well, and I'll be real honest, that's what I love most about this, right? Because I spend so much of my time talking about, to really win in hospitality, it's not you're never gonna get a 5% change in your
Mhm.
P&L by making one adjustment. You have to get there
Yeah.
by these tiny little 10th of a percent and quarter of a percent adjustments, and most of those take significant time and money. And what you guys are doing, yeah, okay, we'll get into it. There's a little bit of time requirement, but it's really not huge, and it costs no money. So
Yeah.
essentially, you sign up, you get in the program, and then you get money for nothing,
I know, it's kinda
right?
hard to believe for a lot of people, but
So let's talk a little bit because we that kind of lays the groundwork of where we're going. But I kind of want to walk through what the experience would be for someone signing up from you, kind of end to end. And
mhm,
so there's a little bit of time, like I mentioned, that's from my understanding, pretty much all in the onboarding process.
mhm,
So if somebody wanted to work with you guys, what does that kind of onboarding and getting into the program look like?
yeah. I mean, I'd say we can set up account anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. It's actually like a super seamless, quick process. So what would happen if you were to enroll from the podcast here, you would follow the link, you would go and fill out your information, then we would receive that we got a sign up, and I'd be able to see the location. You would include a good phone number, a good email for me to reach you. And I would give you a call up, be like, "Hey, this is Kyle from Dining Alliance. Let's see how we can help you out." And we would connect your distributors. It would take anywhere, it would say it takes up to 9 months for you to receive your first rebate check, usually, because it takes time for things to process. But we can get the initial connection set up in 5 minutes. And it depends on the distributor with how that connection process works.
And that's really quick, right? I mean, we're
It
talking
is
5,
very
10 minutes,
quick.
and yeah, it's a delay
Yeah.
to get that first check, but
Yeah.
it's once you're set up, is there anything you have to do after the setup is done?
It depends on the member, honestly. I mean, I've have people who sign up, get the distributors connected, and they never want to talk to us again. It's like hands off. You just collect your rebate checks. For a little more context on the payout of the rebate checks, they're paid out on a quarterly basis, so every 3 months. Um, so you can really just kind of sign up, get everything connected, and not worry about it, or you can work with us to explore other savings opportunities we have to offer because we're always introducing new things. So.
Now, I know there are people listening and they're saying, "Okay, well, you get money back from or you get money from manufacturers, but all that data has to come from distributors, right? Because the distributors
Yeah,
know what you buy and what you didn't buy."
for sure.
So, some people use, Sysco, US Foods, they're using the giant distributors. Some people are using little local distributors. Does this work
Mhm.
for regardless of the distributor you're using?
Yeah, there's definitely distributors that we connect with and ones that we don't. But like I said, we've gotten pretty big in the last couple of years, and we're constantly building new deals and new partnerships with certain distributors. So what I'll say, we do have a couple channel partners. For example, some of ones that people might recognize is like Performance Foods, like Nicholas and Company, Affiliated Foods. These distributors like know the value that we provide with the program here, so they'll automatically enroll their customers into the program as like a way to say thank you and get them some money back. And in those cases, like we just connect with only the customer number. In other cases, for some larger vendors that we don't have direct deals with, like US Foods, Sysco, Gordon Foods, those are ones I also connect on a regular basis. And those aren't a direct feed offered by the distributor themselves. So we just need to pair it like to your account, which would require like login credentials to connect to the account, just a one-time connection along with your customer number. Because basically what we're doing is we're just pulling your invoices and then giving you the rebates on the items you're buying that are listed on your invoices, obviously. So
it's going to be a little bit different based on distributor, but essentially everybody is probably using at least one or two distributors that you guys work with.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
And you had mentioned that it goes beyond food distributors, right? I mean, I think the big thing is always the food distributors up front because let's be honest, even in for a lot of bars, food's making up a significant portion of their sales, and
For
that's
sure.
the person they're probably seeing the most and ordering from the most outside of liquor distributors. But beyond food distributors, I know you mentioned a couple, but what are we really looking at?
Yeah, Beyond Food Distributors, actually, the title of the brands we partner with is actually called Beyond Broadline, because it's the savings we can get you beyond like your broadline distributor rebates and stuff like that. And I mentioned a couple in here. Obviously, we have small ones like Staples, ServSafe, but we also have a couple that we do national pricing contracts with. For example, like Airmark and Cintas are two linen providers that most people use that I talk to on the phones. And how that works, if you're like not happy with your current pricing, you just send us over an invoice. We do a quick financial analysis to see if we can get you better pricing versus what you're currently paying. And sometimes that will encourage you to add like fire safety or something else to where they'd be able to get you on that other contract.
Yeah, and one of them that stood out, or a couple of them that stood out to me, just from the bar perspective, were DirecTV and Airgas, because I know
Yep.
all bars are buying lots of CO2, right? And
Exactly.
I think pretty much everybody still uses DirecTV, even with all the streaming options that are out
Oh,
there.
for sure. Yeah. And one thing I'll say about DirecTV is obviously, I know a lot of people say NFL ticket is pretty expensive. Actually see some very large savings for people who hop on a national contract that use NFL ticket. Like I'm talking like thousands of dollars a year, like up to like 60% savings on what they were previously paying. It all depends, but definitely have seen a good return on those. So it's just pretty cool. Uh,
Well, again, fill out the form that's below. You give them a call. If you can save 60% on your DirecTV or Sunday ticket, that's
yeah,
huge. Especially as I mean, football season is just kicking up.
for sure.
So, another one that I heard that you guys work with is Pepsi. Is that correct?
Yeah, Pepsi is correct. Yep. Yeah. So Pepsi works a little bit different than the rest. So we work with Pepsi bottlers across the country here. And just say, for example, you're not already on a contract with Pepsi, you're using Coke or you're getting your drinks through like your supplier, like Sysco or something like that. Basically, we can have the Pepsi team give you a call and we'll explore and if we can get you on a Pepsi contract. And that usually includes us saving you up to like 25% on your beverage pricing, getting you rebates on those items. And it's also a complete free install of like your soda lines and the machine and all that. So you don't have to worry about the labor costs.
So I think between the food distributors, DirecTV, Airgas, Pepsi, Airmark, Cintas, right? To me, what I found to be really cool, learning about this program from you guys is that there's almost every person that has a bar or restaurant can save something just by talking to you on the phone.
100%. I mean, I truly believe there's a little bit of something for everybody. Even if you're not using like a huge vendor, if we can help you out with one of those Beyond Broadline programs or get you on a Pepsi contract, I mean, anything helps. And we have a lot of avenues for savings opportunity here.
Now, I know we did say that with your program, it can be literally as easy as talk to you on the phone, never think about it again once you've signed up and just collect those checks. But you guys also do have a online portal. And I know you give in there, one of the things I thought was really cool is because you know what people are buying and you know where the manufacturers are giving rebates, you even suggest, okay, you're buying this type of fry if you switch to this fry, not only is it, the same price or close to it, but you're going to get a
Mhm.
rebate on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually what's pretty cool is you have an entire item intel tab where you can go through your items, see all the items offered by your distributors that you're buying from. We'll show you which actual item gives you a rebate or not. And you can also click into like the details and see similar products offered. And you also have a whole breakdown of all your purchasing. Like if you have 3 distributors connected, you can see the collective food spend in there, see how much rebates you're getting back, and also make decisions upon yourself to switch to other items to get more of a return if you'd like to.
So that's all there but optional.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I want to make sure that we hit on as we're talking through, because there are a lot of people in the bar industry, let's be honest, that when it comes to tech, when it comes to connecting distributor information and kind of some of this financial data, they get a little wary of who has access to their
Yeah.
purchasing data and all that.
Yeah.
Um, so run us through a little bit of the back end security on all of
Yeah. I mean, there's really no risk to it. Obviously, people in the modern world, you have to be careful. Obviously, it's always a concern about people giving out some of their personal information. But the best way I can put it into perspective here, all we're doing is pulling things out of your invoices. Like back in the day when we first kind of started getting this program up and running, we were actually having people manually enter in their invoices, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't have time for that. It's not worth it." So obviously we're like also kind of a tech company, and we introduce new ways to make things like a hell of a lot easier for all of our members. So now all we do is we pull a direct data feed from basically your invoice information from your distributors, and then we can just process your rebates that way. And that's why it can be hands off for you. So
Well, and to me, that's compelling because I
yeah.
remember, and I don't know if it was one of the buyer's edge groups, but I remember back when I owned a bar, somebody pitched something to me, like this to me,
Hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, well, you can either enter your invoices online or you can fax them to us."
Yeah.
And I looked at them and I'm like, "I don't have a fax machine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I'm gonna I can email it to you after right? But I can't fax it." And so I never ended up doing it just because it was so much extra work. Whereas this, set it up, forget it if you want, optimize it if you want, but bottom line is you're getting back some money. And just so that people are aware, on the DirecTV, we talked about, okay, you might be able to save 60% on Sunday ticket and overall in subscription. Pepsi, we have some numbers, but when it comes to food, um, what kind of rebate percentages are we talking about? Like if you're doing the program, is there any way to kind of
Hmm.
give people an indication of what they might save?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the rebate percentages on each individual item is like kind of random because obviously it's all dictated by the manufacturers. So there's not really a great way to kind of see, or like I can't really give you an estimate on like an exact percentage of what you're gonna save.
Mhm.
But this is why we provide you with your own online rebate portal. That I try to walk through every member with, just to kind of show them the tab where they can see how much rebates they're getting back each month, and you can actually click in and kind of see the percentage that's offered on each of those items. And it's all through the manufacturers. So it will like list what manufacturers are giving you the rebates, so you can kind of actually see where that money's coming from.
That's awesome, right? And and
Mm.
and the bottom line is, and one of the reasons that I agreed to do all this with you guys is because this is Kyle telling you this stuff, and if you sign up, Kyle's going to be the one that calls you. So
Yeah.
there's no misinformation on the podcast, and if there is, you can get mad at him
Yeah.
when he calls you up, but I'm
You
sure
can
there's
call me
not.
up and yell at me if you want to, but
Um, so I mean, I think we've covered a lot of what you guys do. Is there anything that we have not hit on yet?
I'd say the last thing that I wanted to discuss was like the third kind of thing we really help
Yeah.
operators out with, which is our back office software. That's where I was saying it's kind of an innovative way to help people kind of manage their food and labor costs a little bit more. I'd say the main thing I really recommend to most operators to look into is just take a meeting, look into how we can help you manage your food costs. It's pretty much just kind of automates everything for you. Like I was a manager as well, kind of helping the GM go through and like kind of place whatever orders you need, keep track of just recipe costings, stuff like that, stuff that can take a lot of time out of your week, and is crucially important for the bottom line, obviously. So we can automate all that, help you with recipe costings, plug everything in, help you course correct in real time when there's market fluctuations. And on top of that, you also kind of get a team along with it that you can call up and talk through things if you're a little more inexperienced in the industry. So I'd say overall, it's just a really helpful tool that can also help you out with accounting, a payroll, kind of anything you're looking for, honestly. So,
Well, and that is a big one, right? Because when we talk about, especially menu costing,
mhm,
like, and I talk about that on the podcast all the time. I'm a huge fan of know all your costs down to the penny, but that can be really difficult because the prices, a tube of ground beef is a different price every week,
exactly. Yeah.
right? It's a different price sometimes multiple
Mhm,
times a day. The price can
yeah.
change with some distributors, right?
Yeah.
So, since you guys have those invoices, you already have
Mhm,
the data on what the costs are. I assume your software can just take that, take the recipes, and give you a
mhm.
constantly updated cost.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's pretty cool. I mean, the example I usually use for people that often use like spreadsheets and like compare between their distributors is the question I usually ask is like, if the price of ground beef were to rise by 20% like tomorrow, do you have a good way to track that? And usually most people say like, oh no, because that's kind of a hard thing to stay on top of if you don't have an automated system. And this is a system that would provide you and like kind of flag things like that so you can make adjustments in real time. Another good thing to note, like you were talking earlier in our conversation about profit loss statements, and a lot of people get profit loss statements through their accountants like every month. We can actually do that every week for you, which is crucial because you can use that information to make decisions in real time. It's not data from like a month ago. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, now that speed to data is huge.
mhm.
Absolutely huge. Um, so before we wrap up here, let's go through exactly because I'm sure people are listening, right? And they're thinking, okay, this is cool. I don't have to spend anything. I'm gonna talk to Kyle for 10, 15 minutes, get this all figured out. How do they go from listing right now to getting the phone call from you?
So yeah, we're gonna include a little link that will bring you to the sign-on page where you're gonna plug in your information, name of the restaurant, address, contact info. And then after that, it will create yourself like a little portal, and I'll give you a call and see how we can help get things set up, whether it's connecting distributors, helping you save money through some of the Beyond Broadband programs like Pepsi, or if you're someone who's just really struggling to kind of track your food and labor costs efficiently, we can also explore how we can help you out there as well.
Awesome. So that link will be down in the show notes, as well as I'm gonna drop some links down there for just to go to the general website. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, sounds cool, not quite ready to sign up, still want to learn more, we'll have those links for you as well. But if you're listening, Kyle's a nice dude. This is like the third time we've talked. He's great. So I would say just fill out the form, let him give you a call. That way, rather than digging through it all yourself and spending that time, he can just answer your questions
Mhm.
and get it done for you quickly.
It's really no pressure either, you know. I mean, you sign up, we can help you out, great. If not, no sweat. So,
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I really like about you because that's where your restaurant experience really is coming in, right? Because I'm
yeah.
sure you had hundreds of people pitch you stuff every week,
Oh
and
yeah.
most of it,
Mhm.
right? Like
Mhm.
all bar and restaurant owners do. We go, "That's
Yeah.
cool, but not for me. Have a nice day."
Yeah. For sure.
Um, but you understand if that's somebody's viewpoint and
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
that comes from that.
Yeah.
But
Well, for me, like being busy in a restaurant and I get a call, I can tell within the first like minute or two whether there's value in like the pitch that they're giving me. So, kind of, and like for me, like obviously I make phone calls pitching this all day and I don't even really feel like it's much of a pitch. I feel like it's just like, hey, like I can save you money. So let's look into this. And often they've heard of the program in some way or another. So, but
So definitely we'll have all the links to get everywhere, but right down in the show notes, we're going to have that link to the form. Go fill it out. Kyle will give you a call. Or if for some reason the link in the show notes isn't working, if you go to the Bar Business Podcast website, just barbusinesspodcast.com, it's going to be right there as well. Because I have to say, as somebody that's done the podcasting and done the bar ownership, I think this is one of the most unique programs because it requires zero money out of your pocket to put some money back into your pocket. And as we've talked about before on the podcast, when you save these incremental sums of money, it's pretty much going straight to your bottom line, right? All you're doing is lowering your cost. There's no cost associated here. So if you save $10, that's $10 more on your bottom line at the end of the year. So, Kyle, thank you so much for being here.
Mm.
Thanks for explaining the program.
Yeah.
And for showing how simple it can be to save some money.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm more than happy to explain what we do here. It's pretty cool.
That about wraps it up for today. If you enjoyed today's insights, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a review. If you are ready to take your bar to the next level, schedule a strategy session with me by clicking the link in the show notes below. Until next time, have a great day, and we will talk again later.